Welcome to Fearopoly Street, the podcast where elder millennials have a fun and socially aware discussion about the 90s cult classic horror series, Fear Street. If you've never read the book or it's been a while, we provide a detailed chapter breakdown complete with sarcasm and humor. In this episode, hosts Michelle Hanson and Olivia James discuss book number 3, The Overnight, which was released October 1989.
Nightmare Island. Nothing bad will happen, Della O'Connor assures her friend in the outdoors club. So what if their advisor can't go on the overnight to Fear Island? Won't it be more fun with no adults around? But it's no fun at all when Della gets lost in the woods and the dangerous stranger appears whispering threats, driving her to a violent act. Suddenly, all of her friends are involved, prisoners in a conspiracy of silence, trying to conceal the terrible truth. But someone saw what Della did, and he's threatening them all, forcing them back to Fear Island to find the evidence they forgot to bury.
So for this, no prologue. First book
No.
that doesn't have a prologue.
I didn't miss it. Did you miss?
No. No,
I don't think you need the hook. I feel like the hook was so artificial and it was so, I don't know.
Yeah.
Also ditches the dates and times.
Yeah, ditches that. Real quick, just since this is how we started in October 1989, when this was published, I was 10 years old and you were still...
Now I was 6.5.
Now you're 6.5. Okay.
So now I'm maturing.
All right. So we start with chapter 1, and Della O'Connor is at school. It's toward the end of the school year, and she's standing at her locker thinking about her recent ex-boyfriend, Gary. His name is carved into her locker, and she very badly wants to get back together with him. We don't really get too much about Gary, and I wonder, just in the surprise party, you remember when Lisa saw Meg in the hallway when she went to go get a note, and Lisa was like, Gary and Krista just broke up.
Oh, I forgot about
And
that.
Meg was like, can't talk now, gotta go to the principal's office. However, so this Gary just recently broke up with Della O'Connor, who's not Krista. So maybe different Garys, I'm not sure.
Maybe, or maybe Lisa didn't know what she was talking about and said Krista, but she meant Della, and then there was like a confusion of, oh, your name's Della? I always thought it was Krista.
So Della and Gary both belong to a small social club at Shadyside called the Outdoors Club. Della's best friend, Maya Franklin, comes up to her and says she's allowed to go to the overnight club excursion, which is an overnight at Fear Island, which is off the lake next to Fear Street Woods, which is on Fear Street.
Mm-hmm. I like this expansion of the world. We're slowly getting further and further into the woods.
So Della and Maya go to Mr. Abner's classroom, and he oversees the overnight club. Della sees Gary talking to Suki Thomas. Ooh, we know her.
We sure do. She's a floozy, I hear.
Such a floozy. Della sees Gary talking to Suki Thomas, whom we know from the surprise party. She was last seen at the surprise party with Dwayne. We don't really get a follow-up to that. Gary ignores Della, and Della sits next to another overnight club member, Pete Goodwin, which you wondered if another Family Guy name was going to be.
And there Pete comes. And interestingly, I've been watching Ghosts on CBS. They're a few seasons in, and there is a guy that like basically led a Boy Scouts Outdoors club named Pete, who got shot through the head with an arrow, or through the neck with an arrow. So thankfully, there's no spoiler. This Pete does not get shot with an arrow, but maybe in book 4.
Maybe.
We can hope. Cross your fingers.
So Pete tells Della that Mr. Abner will be right back, and the not-so-funny class clown Rick Shore comes walking in. This completes the 6 members of the overnight club. We have Della, Maya, Suki, Rick, Pete, and Gary, who is the club president, and it's led by Mr. Abner.
That is a very small club.
It is.
Ricky, they don't write him funny. Like
No.
when you expect like a class clown, I'm like, okay, do you just not know how to write what a class clown would be like? Is that the problem here?
Yeah. So Mr. Abner comes back to class and tells the club members that he has to postpone the trip this weekend because he has a family emergency. It was at this point that I thought, okay, Mr. Abner is the killer. It's happening. It's Mr. Abner.
I never, ever suspected him.
Della is bummed because she wanted to use this trip as a chance to talk to Gary. After Mr. Abner leaves, Suki suggests that the club go on the trip without him. It's the perfect plan because the parents won't know they aren't chaperoned, and Mr. Abner won't know that they went without him. All are in favor except for Maya because her parents are very strict and she's sure they'll find out. Club President Gary gives his blessing, and they all agree to go. Della promises Maya nothing will happen.
Would you have gone?
If I thought that if I liked someone who was going, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
if I didn't like anyone who was going to be there, then probably not. No.
Like romantic like, or if they were like good friends of yours?
Romantic. I would have to.
You wouldn't have gone if it was just good friends of yours?
No, probably not.
I probably would have gone with good friends.
You know what? Okay. So this is 46-year-old Michelle answering you.
Yeah.
I need 16-year-old Michelle to answer you.
Mm.
And wholeheartedly, yes, I would go because I was such a rebel without a cause.
See, I would have, I'm thinking right now, like whether it was then or now, like if 5 close friends of mine were going and I was going to be left out, I'd be really disappointed to be left out. I'd want to go with them too, because I know they'd be talking about it for weeks or months.
Yeah, you're right. I'm thinking it of as like 46-year-old Michelle as a parent if I had kids.
Sure.
That should be the answer. Mm-hmm. Then you're right. 16-year-old Michelle absolutely would have gone.
Did you ever sneak out anywhere?
I did. And I went to my grandma's house because I lived in the middle of nowhere. And yeah.
You told us, was that on the podcast or you just told me the story? I don't remember. But yes, I remember that story recently. Mm-hmm. So I snuck out like twice or 3 times total at ages like 16 or 17. And I just went to hang out with friends and came back because I thought it was my parents unfairly made me come in too early.
My best friend at the time and now, hi Angie, she has the best sneaking out story from when we were like 12 or 13. Like she snuck out of her bedroom window, went running down the street. Some boys picked her up in a car. And we have this ongoing joke, even like 40 years later, almost, well, not that long, about 35 years later, where the guy, his car was like a total rundown hoopty and they were making fun of it. And he was like, don't you be dissing my baby. And for decades, she and I have always said, don't you be dissing my baby. So Angie, you have the greatest sneaking out party in the world.
One time I came back and I parked the van in the yard and I had parked in the yard before so they wouldn't hear me like in the driveway.
Yeah.
And I guess I didn't park it straight. It was late. I was tired. And they were sure that I had like been drunk the night before because they'd gone to bed before I came home. So they didn't know what time I came home. I didn't touch alcohol in high school. And they were sure I had been drunk. And I was like, no. Anyway. Yeah. So we're at chapter 2. Della's home packing for the overnight on Fear Island. What do you wear to Fear Island, really?
What do you wear?
What do you wear? Her mom comes into her room and asks a million questions about her trip, as a good mother should.
Yes.
We found out that Della's parents divorced 2 years ago and her dad has remarried. The overnight is on Fear Island, and few people go there because of the scary stories associated with Fear Woods and Fear Island. Because of the scary stories associated with Fear Street Woods and Fear Island. Pete picks up Della to go to Fear Street Woods, and Della thinks about Gary. Pete asks if Della and Gary broke up, and Della tells him, it's not finalized. We're on a break. Pete comments that's going to be a fun trip, because if they're on a break, it is going to be fun. At Fear Street Woods, Gary has 2 canoes for everyone to get to Fear Island. Della tries to talk to Gary, but Suki comes over and starts to flirt with Gary because, after all, she's a floozy. Mm-hmm. On the water, Della, Maya, and Peter in one canoe. Gary, Suki, and Rick are in the other. Once on the island, they find a good camping spot and pitch 2 tents. But there's 3 boys, so I don't know which one did it. Never mind. Mm-hmm. One for the girls and one for the boys. Once the tents are set up, Della goes to find Gary so she can apologize and win him back. However, she sees Gary kissing, you're never going to believe this, Suki.
Floozy
Suki gets the boy.
And I'm sure Pete thinks this is going to be a great trip because the only way to get over someone is to get under someone else. So, yeah, he is thinking this is going to be a great
right place, right time. Mm-hmm. Oh, high school boys.
So we're on chapter 3. We're at the campground. And Ricky pulls out 6 zap guns, which are basically paintball guns.
But, like, they're hitting each other close range and stuff, and it doesn't stay in their clothes. That's what confused me. I'm like, that's not paintball. Is this, like, some tamer jet liver?
I looked up zap guns, and nothing came up.
So I didn't think it was real either.
This is another RL make it up.
But it was so convenient. Like, oh, I know we can't actually, like, explain paint guns. I'm going to make up this version that's essentially the same thing, but harmless?
Harmless. So the boys are excited to play, and the girls are less than thrilled. It's boys versus girls, and Rick explains the rules to the game. The boys have red paintballs and the girls have yellow paintballs. If you're hit twice, you're a prisoner. If you're hit thrice, you're dead.
Why aren't they pink and blue?
Because in Fear Street, in Shadyside, there is no genderized color. There's no gender, okay? This is my world, all right? Let me live in it.
Okay. Something, do you have a note in there about Suki thinking it's sexy to play Hunter and Hunted?
No.
That's in this chapter. Suki, they specifically said, this is kind of sexy. Huh? Sexy? Della didn't get it. Yeah, you know, hunting and being hunted.
Oh.
I guess that's just how much of a floozy Suki is. But honestly, I kind of related to her a little bit there. Not fully, but.
So with the zap gun game, there's no shooting for the first 10 minutes, so everyone has time to scatter. The boys head south and the girls go west. As they're finding a place to hide, Suki asks Della if she and Gary are broken up, but Della can't answer because Rick shoots at them, but he misses. So at least good for Suki for like, hey, girl to girl, are you and Gary over with before?
I mean, she was already making out with him, though.
Well, making out is like, you know, maybe the kiss just happened, you know, and then she's like, hang on, let's take a pause, and I got to go talk to your ex.
I mean, I like Suki, so I'm not trying to be hating on her. I mean, slut shaming is a big problem. You shouldn't. Oh, you should not. So, no, absolutely. I agree. That was decent of her to find out.
And Gary and Suki are free to do what they want to do.
Sure, because they're on a break.
So Ricky shoots at them, and Della shoots back and hits Ricky with her yellow paint. Ricky shoots back, and Della runs to hide. Della quickly gets lost and soon feels like she's being followed, but it's just a squirrel because it's Fear Street.
However, a rabid squirrel.
However, a man steps out from behind a tree and runs at her.
Mm-hmm. A man, not a boy. A man.
A man's man.
Oof. A man? Suki wishes that were her.
Losey Suki, where are you now?
So it's chapter 4. It's some random guy in a leather jacket who has a silver skull necklace. Della guesses he's around 21 years old and thinks he's handsome. You have a problem with the 16-year-old being interested in the 14-year-old or 12, maybe. Do you have a problem with the 16-year-old being interested in the 21-year-old?
No, because they are both at puberty. I don't think the 21-year-old should pursue the 16-year-old. However, I think it's very common for a 16-year-old to crush on a 21-year-old.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah, the puberty is the big difference in this one for sure. So they have a flirty banter. And Della tells him her name. And when she asks for his name, he says that it's also Della. Huge coincidence. They're fated to be together.
They are.
She tells him that she's lost. And he gets close to her and asks if she goes to Shadyside. Then he grabs her and asks if her earrings are real gold. Then he bites him like a pirate. She says she doesn't know and that he's hurting her, but he drags her to the edge of the cliff. And his name is Tony for some reason.
Yeah. I feel like we've been here before.
Right?
We have been in Fear Street Woods at the edge of a cliff about to go over.
Would you also say that this chapter ended on a cliffhanger?
Oh, dang.
Well, she's not actually hanging off the cliff, so no, I wouldn't say that.
Not yet. But chapter 5 will let us know if it does happen.
Yeah.
So we're in chapter 5, and Della tells him to let her go. Probably not the smartest.
No, you're hanging over a cliff.
Della tells him to let her go, but he starts rambling about communication and needing to communicate better, and he's just not making any sense at all. Della breaks free and shoots him between the eyes with her zap gun, and then she runs. The man runs after her, gets the zap gun from Della, and then leads her back to the cliff. Della pushes him away, and the man falls over the cliff.
Down the ravine?
Down the ravine.
Ah.
Della goes down after him and thinks his neck is broken because he's clearly dead. She covers his body with leaves, but Pete and Maya see her.
Yeah, after the last book, you have to doubt if he's really dead or not.
Yeah.
Right? Because you just had the story with Evan.
Unless they say that his soul has left his body,
right.
I am never going to believe that someone is dead in a Fear Street book.
I think I would have, had they not just done this in the last book. I think that was like the tee off of, and because we had the repetition from book 1 to book 2, and now we have different repetition, but still repetition from book 2 to 3.
Yeah,
I don't know. He's just At this point, Arl was pretty young, wasn't he? So maybe he's still getting his legs under him, kind of feeling things out.
Possibly.
R.L. Stine was born in 1943. He's 81 years old. So he was already like 40 almost.
He was 40.
He
Yeah.
was 40.
Yeah, he was like our age.
Okay, so no excuse. No excuse. We don't forgive him. Never mind.
No.
Chapter 6. Pete and Maya help Della up the cliff, and Della tells them it was an accident. Gary, Rick, and Suki show up and ask who the guy is. Della tells them she doesn't know. Maya's freaking out because her parents are going to find out she went to Fear Island without a chaperone. Way more crucial than the dead guy at the bottom of her ravine. Gary says he wants to go check for a pulse on the unknown man because somebody has some sense of actually check to see if they're dead.
He is club president, after all.
That's how you get to be president. We used to elect presidents by competence and intelligence. I don't know what happened. On the ground, Gary doesn't find a pulse, and Rick covers the body back with leaves. That made me think maybe a little bit more, but then also, how do we know Gary even knows how to check a pulse? Right?
Yeah.
So they head to the campsite. Suki wants to go home. Same girl. But Della and Gary convince everyone to stay the night as planned, which I do actually get that because they're going to get in trouble if they go now. Now they're blowing it, and you got to keep the cover story up.
Yeah.
The problem is they think somebody's dead. That's where you've got to... I would think it was really important we had the scene where he showed what a creeper he was and how he was attacking her, because otherwise it's like, no, you got to go for help or else you're a terrible person.
Yeah.
But because of that, you're like, well, he kind of got what he deserved.
Yeah.
No, if you attack somebody and then fall down a ravine, I'm sorry. It's just, yeah. So they have dinner around the campfire, hot dogs, not human flesh, weirdly enough. And Gary makes everyone take an oath that they will never, ever tell anyone that happened on Fear Island. And they don't. It's the end of the story.
Yeah.
No, actually, everyone swears, and Della and Maya go to the tent. Della can hear leaves falling on the tent and gets PTSD from covering the man with leaves. Not quite sure that's how PTSD works, but okay. Later that night, the girls are sleeping in their tent, and they hear a noise. Della looks out the tent and sees the backpack scattered around the campsite. She assumes it's just a hungry raccoon.
This hungry raccoon looking for trapper keepers.
Absolutely. In the morning, the group quickly eats breakfast and heads to the canoes, but Ricky realizes he forgot his backpack at the site, so he goes back to get it. However, while he's gone, the rest of the group sees that the canoes are perfectly right there, and they go home. Oh, no, wait, they're missing.
Canoes are gone.
Oh, man.
So we're at chapter 7, and Ricky comes back, and he's like, my bad, I moved the canoes as a joke, but it was before the guy died, so it's still funny.
He really has his pulse like humor.
I know.
Unless you can't find the pulse the way Gary couldn't find the pulse. Anyway, there's something there. I didn't say it right.
Ricky gets the canoes, and they head back home, but in silence. Della hopes she'll feel better when she gets home, but her mom is asking a million questions about the trip. Della thinks about telling her mom what happened, but she decides against it. Later that night, Maya calls. She isn't doing well with the guilt and anxiety of her parents possibly finding out. Della gets ready to go over to Maya's house, but she can't find her wallet. But she goes to Maya's house without it. Maya looks terrible because she's been crying all night. She thinks her parents are suspicious, and it takes Della 2 hours to calm her down. When Della gets home, she sees a white envelope in between her front door and screen door, and inside that envelope is a silver skull necklace charm, the same as the dead guy was wearing.
Oh.
There's also a note in the envelope. I saw what you did.
Last night. At this point, with Maya freaking out, I was almost surprised. Maybe this is tropes from like more modern stuff, but I was almost surprised there wasn't some scene of the other 5 going, well, we have to kill Maya to keep her mouth shut. Let's shove her down her ravine. So, chapter 8, it's Tuesday night, and everyone but Pete is at Della's house. Pete is coming over later because of a family dinner. It's more important than dealing with the body. They're all gathered in Della's living room talking about the necklace and how cool it was, and the note. Della thinks it's Ricky, but he denies it. Then Gary says he got a note too. We believe that after Tony last book. And it was in his mailbox after school Monday. Gary also says he can't find his wallet, which is really bizarre. And Della adds she can't find hers either. They all had their wallets in their backpacks the overnight. So weird.
So weird. What'd that raccoon do?
All right. Well, the raccoon probably went on a bender with their wallets, bought some beer. Gary wants
the raccoons at the club.
At the club. I would love that cutscene. Gary wants to go to the police, but Maya freaks out and won't let him. I mean, Maya's the one who was... Never mind. I don't like Maya.
No.
I'm sorry. Like, I get... whatever. Suki says it's just someone trying to scare them because he hasn't gone to the police either. Of course, it's a he.
Mm-hmm.
She suggests they ignore the notes and the guy. Again, guy, assuming it. Well, what girl's going to be this dumb and immature and whatever? So I guess that's reasonable.
Okay.
Dell adds that the guy might want to do more than scare them, such as blackmail. Let's start get their wallets. What else does he need to get for them? Then there's a knock at the door, and Della thinks it's people. When she opens the door, no one's there. She thinks she sees something move, but it's just the raccoon with their wallets. No, it's a cat. She locks the door, goes back to the living room with everyone. Then there's another knock at the door. Cliffhanger!
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Chapter 9 is there.
And that's the first line in Chapter 9. Who's there? Della called.
So both Della and Gary check to see who's at the door. A car full of teenagers speeds off, and Suki thinks maybe they should go to the cops, but Maya says no. Gary gets a Polaroid camera from Della's room so they can take a picture of the person who is knocking. They hear a knock, and when Della opens the door, Gary takes a picture.
Yeah, that plan didn't really make sense to me, especially with the old Polaroid cameras. By the time you get the door open and everything, like, I guess maybe they could... I mean, as soon as they start opening the door, that guy's going to die.
Yeah,
so they're not going to get a picture. Yeah. Well, the raccoon's actually posing for it. So that works out. Chapter 10, the picture is just a blurry image of the screen door, aiming it through the screen, which I guess they should have thought about. Pete arrives during the chaos and Maya wants to go home, but Pete shows her a news article that says, neighbors witness burglary, fatal shooting, police hunt 2 men on killing. So now we know who the men are and what they were doing, which is very like Huckleberry Finn, I feel like, on the island running into like these bad criminals.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
The 2 men broke into the house of a millionaire to look for his money. When they didn't find any money, they shot the millionaire because that accomplishes the same thing somehow. Yeah. There's a police sketch of the 2 men, and one looks just like the guy from Fear Island. It's incredible.
The handsome 21-year-old?
The handsome 21-year-old with the skull necklace and everything. Pete concludes the guy's partner is the one sending them letters, which reasonable.
Yeah, that makes sense.
They knock on the door trying to blackmail them or their parents for money. And since they're wanted for murder, that's why the partner can't go to the police. There's another knock on the door, and it's Della's mom, and she is back from playing bridge.
Why is she knocking on her own door?
I wondered the same thing. Unless maybe she left it unlocked because she was just going to the neighbors to play bridge, and now it's locked. So she's like, hey, why is the door locked? Are you going to let me in? Small town, you don't generally lock the doors.
Yeah, that's true.
Her daughter's knows her daughter's going to be there.
I thought like, oh, maybe she's at the grocery store. Her hands were full with like grocery bags or whatever. So we're on chapter 11, and Della tells her mom that they were having an overnight club meeting, and Gary dismisses the meeting. Pete stays after and asks Della if she wants to go on a date Friday night, and Della says yes. And they agree to see a movie or go to the Mill Dance Club. It's Friday night, and Della and Pete are having a great time at the dance club. They leave the club at midnight and go to grab a burger. Granted, they are underage. Curfew's 11 o'clock, but sure, stay until midnight. Della kisses Pete when they are in the parking lot just to get it out of the way. And as they head to the diner, they notice they're being followed by someone with their brights turned on. Pete drives 90 miles per hour down a windy and curvy road to get away from the driver, but the car keeps bumping into them. Pete sees it's a Ford Taurus, and Pete outmaneuvers the car, and it crashes into a tree. Della and Pete check on the driver, but the car is empty.
How mysterious is that?
I know.
So bizarre. Did you think it was really odd that she was so hung up on Gary, and then like a day later she's dating Pete and kissing him?
That's the heart of a 16-year-old girl.
Okay. I guess I don't, it's been so long since I've been a teenager because I'm so ancient. I just don't remember. Monday at school, Della talks to Maya about the crash, and Maya thinks it was probably the guy's partner.
Good assumption.
And then Della's like, oh, I never thought of that. Mr. Abner cuts the conversation short and tells them he rescheduled the overnight for this coming Saturday. They're all like, oh, we're busy.
Yeah, right. Like, we have a life.
That was
Mr.
so...
Abner.
I mean, yes, it's suspicious, but also you're right. Like, you can't just suddenly ask them to clear... Well, they're teenagers. They should have jobs, so that could be the problem. But none of them seem to have.
Why isn't Mr. Abner calling the parents? There's only 6 parents he has to call.
That's true. That's true. I don't know. So He asks them to check their schedules and meet back and discuss with them, so they put that off. The gang meets in the parking lot to come up with a plan. Ricky suggests they stall. They only have 5 weeks of school left. We can run out the clock on Mr. Abner.
Okay.
Gary wants to tell Mr. Abner what happened, but Maya reminds them of the oath they took, and that's when they all murder Maya. Ricky tells Della that she never gave him back the zap gun, and Della remembers, the zap gun's still on Fear Island. What if they think the zap gun's what murdered the millionaire?
Oh.
Because it's a gun.
They paintballed him to death.
Right? If he shoots in the mouth and he chokes on it or something.
Could be,
maybe.
yeah.
Ricky panics because he's the only person in Shadyside who has a zap gun. 6 of them. 6 of them.
He bought all 6
He bought all 6 of the local stores so nobody else could have them. But he also knows, if the question by police, he's going to turn out. If the police question him, he's going to turn in the rest of them. Mm-hmm. So that's when they all go and murder Ricky.
Yeah.
So at this point, the group's getting small because they're murdering each other left and right. Suki lunges at Ricky, but Della intervenes, and she says it's her responsibility to get the zap gun back. So they all agree to the overnights, then get the gun. That actually did make a certain amount of sense to me of how to get them back for this next part of the story. So,
yeah, I do like that part to where they all have to go back in order to get the gun and cover their tracks.
Well, Ricky's guns are magic, as we discussed, because if it was paintball, that's common. Everybody's got those. But this is clearly a magic paintball that easily washes out the clothes and doesn't hurt.
Yeah. But does get in your eyes and can temporarily blind you.
Sure.
We're on chapter 13, and the overnight club, along with Mr. Abner, are rowing their way to Fear Island. Mr. Abner is navigating. And when they get to shore, Mr. Abner announces that they are going to hike to the other side of the island. He's also filming everything on his camcorder. Mm-hmm. And that is kind of alarming a little bit. Why, the only adult on this island, do you have a camcorder filming 6 teenagers?
Yeah, there's something wrong with Mr. Abner. I'm glad we don't get into that. That's the darker adult version of the story.
I think so, yeah. They get to the other side of the island and walk the beach before they set up camp. It's rainy and dreary, and everyone is just miserable. Della and Pete try to sneak off to look for the zap gun, but Mr. Abner stops them. Then a few minutes later, they sneak off again, but they head back because they hear Maya scream.
I mean, that just seems like an average Tuesday, honestly. What do we know about Maya? I'm not concerned. Maya tells them a man hit Mr. Abner over the head, so I was wrong, and knocked him unconscious. Gary, Suki, and Ricky leave the island to go get help. That seems...
Why do you yell 3 to go?
Right? One person, because you stay in numbers so that you can protect yourself against this partner. Mm-hmm. You can let one person... They'll be okay because they're going away from the danger.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You can even watch from the shore till they, you watch them cross so that you know they're fine. Ricky reminds Della of his zap gun because that's really all he cares about. Mm-hmm. And Pete and Della leave to find the gun, leaving Maya alone to tend to Mr. Abner. Again, not okay.
No.
You've got this guy who just knocked at Mr. Abner. You're going to leave Maya to protect him?
Yeah.
Of all people?
Sure.
She's the one you should have sent in the boat to leave. Honestly. She's the most useless. But Maya freaks out, and Pete says he'll stay with Maya and Mr. Abner, which... Yes, that is the logical. If you're going to split this particular group, that's the logical way to split it, even though it's also why is this the group? Della says she brought a whistle with her and goes alone for the zap gun. Pete gives Della a flashlight because he's a gentleman, right? She makes her way through the woods to the ravine and sees a beam of light a few yards away. Della turns off her flashlight so she won't be seen, but then calls out Pete's name in case it's him. Della hears a man cough, which sounds very different from a boy coughing.
It does, yeah.
And she runs up the ravine where she trips and falls into a pile of leaves, the same pile of leaves that are covering a dead body. Totally different dead body. It's a coincidence. There's a lot of dead bodies on Fear Street Island.
So into chapter 15, Della is grossed out because she landed on a dead body, but there's no dead body there. She hears the cough again and sees the dead guy standing there. He lunges at her and tries to strangle her.
Well, he's a zombie that wants to eat her brain.
That's true. Short chapter.
Very short.
Chapter 16. Lay it on me.
Okay. Della cracks the guy over the head with her flashlight. She doesn't think it's the dead guy, but rather his partner. She runs back to the camp and hears the footsteps behind her. She blows the whistle, but it's a dud. She never even tested the whistle. Where'd she get this whistle? And don't you at least do a test blow when you get a whistle?
What's the point of having a rape whistle?
Right? If you don't even...
It doesn't work.
Yeah. Maybe the guy took the ball out. That's part of the shakiness.
Skull, and then
Yeah,
he it.
Skull was... Oh, that's great. She gets tripped by the person chasing her, and she sees it is the dead guy. He tells her he was never dead, obviously, because he's chasing her. And she should have done a better job seeing if he was still breathing. Yeah, no kidding.
Mm-hmm.
He tells her that since he didn't get money from the millionaire, he decided to scare the kids first and then blackmail their parents for money. So they guessed it.
Mm-hmm.
And the dead guy pulls a pistol from his jacket and puts it against Stella's temple. And then he pulls the trigger.
He pulls the trigger, and then the chapter ends there.
Oh.
So into chapter 17, we find out that the gun that he pulled out is just the zap gun.
Mm-hmm.
Della runs, but the guy tackles her. He tells her he has the gun that he used on the millionaire, and he'll use it on her if she doesn't communicate with him.
And that's a real paintball gun, so it'll hurt.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not watercolors running down the side of her face.
As he's ranting about communication, a flashlight is shown in his eyes, and Pete pulls Della away.
Oh, our hero.
Della shoots the guy with the zap gun, which gets paint in his eyes. And then Pete and Della are able to run back to camp, but the guy chases them. Della, Pete, and the guy make it back to camp, but the police are there and they arrest the guy. Della tells the cops that the guy's partner is also in the woods, and the police so generously tell Della that there's a reward for catching these two.
Oh, how nice.
So apparently Shadyside PD has a couple thousand to just give away to all the good Samaritans.
Of course. That's so kind of them. So we're at chapter 18, the final chapter, believe it or not. A week later, Pete picks up Della to go to a movie. The overnight club had to tell their parents and the police what happened the week before, and somehow they didn't get grounded.
Yep.
When Della gets in Pete's car, she sees a green tent in the back seat. Pete jokes he's taking her camping, but assures her he's just having a hole patched. And then they laugh. Cute.
The end.
The end. This one felt quicker. I think it just had less substance.
It did, yeah. It was very short.
I looked. It's not... I don't think page count-wise it is much shorter. I think it's just lack of substance.
In the original book, it's 148 pages.
148, and what's the second one? Because you've got it right there, right?
I do. The second one I want to say is like 168 pages.
Oh, okay. So that's a...
the second one is 167 pages.
Okay, so that's 20 pages is relatively significant for the size we're talking. Like 1/7, 1/8.
Let's break this down a little bit of the story.
Sure.
We don't really ever find out the guy's name, the two millionaire murderers.
Mm-hmm.
We don't find out what happened with them. At the end, we just find out, they had to tell the parents what really happened. And as you mentioned, they weren't even grounded. What are your thoughts on this whole story?
It does the trope of certain things in the genre where the parents just are so not involved and so checked out and out of this that these kids can do whatever they want. It's like you didn't even have to sneak away for the island yourself. You could have just made an excuse and gone to the island yourself, is what it seems like.
Yeah.
So that's real weak sauce. And then after knowing your daughter almost killed a guy and was being chased by millionaires, you don't let her out of the house for months. Mm-hmm. Especially not with one of the guys who helped her cover it up. Right?
True.
Like, Pete does seem, honestly, other than being involved in this cover up, like a good guy. Yeah. Like, he's the first guy that's not overtly creepy in the Fear Street series. Mm-hmm. So from the reader's perspective, it's like, yeah, she should go out with him. But from the parents' perspective, no freaking way.
No way.
Should she go near him?
I'm glad you brought up Fear Street Woods again, because why didn't the police, on their own, check Fear Street Woods, check Fear Island for these two people who, are on a murder spree?
It's like the police are driving around town looking for the thing, and there's a big neon sign flashing hideout, and they just drive past it.
Yes.
And then later they're like, oh, maybe we should have checked the hideout.
Mm-hmm. And I know the book mentions that people stay clear of Fear Island and Fear Street Woods because of all the spooky stories and everything. But I feel like there are enough adventurous people living in Shadyside that they would be like, ghosts be damned.
Yeah.
I'm going to Fear Island. I'm going to Fear Street Woods. I mean, it has a lake. It has a ravine, a beach, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
It's got everything that you need, especially for a Midwesterner, to feel like they're at a cool vacation spot.
I feel like you would have gone
Philip has lived there.
Yeah.
My backyard, directly behind me, was a cemetery growing up. It was like a
That explains so much.
20-foot walk from my back door.
Right.
It was woods and then immediately a graveyard. And I walked those woods and graveyard all the time when I was a teenager. And like, I would have loved to live on Fear Street with the woods and an island and all that.
I mean, without the fear in the title, which we know is just named after some guy.
Yeah, Simon Fear.
Right.
Mm.
It does sound delightful. It does sound great.
Yeah.
I do think we will keep finding out. This is my prediction. In the other 48 books we have to read, we're going to keep finding out there's more and more geography in this area. Like, oh, there's also going to be a summer camp on the other side of the lake. And there's also going to be, like a mall across the whatever.
They do have a mall.
On Fear Street? Not on Fear Street.
It's not on
In Shady Side.
Yeah, Shady Side does have a mall. And when I was thinking of names for this podcast, because I'm so original with Fearopoly Street, I was kind of bummed that it wasn't called Shadyville instead of Shady Side, because I thought, what a cool name to give listeners, Shady Villains.
Oh, nice.
But no, it's Shady Side.
The shady side of the street.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I like that. Yeah, okay.
I like Fearopoly Street. I like that.
Well, that's what my production quantity is.
Fearopoly.
Yeah. No, it's named because of Fear Street.
I didn't realize that.
So it's a combination of Fear Street, which I grew up and loved, and a band that I used to like. They put Opoly at the end of their merchandise company. So I kind of combined those together. And then my logo intro for my movies is a little wink and nod to the beginning of Are You Afraid of the Dark? With
Nice.
Yeah. So
I just assumed you really liked Monopoly, but okay.
No, I'm actually terrible at Monopoly. And
no one's good at Monopoly.
No, I like being either the battleship or the cowboy on the horse. That's who I like.
Cool. So what band was it?
Hanson.
Hansonopoly? I didn't know they did that. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't talk about them anymore because they are on the wrong side of history. So the next book that we are reading is Missing.
Missing?
That's the fourth book.
Do you think somebody will go missing?
I think so. And I bet you it's going to happen in Fear Street Woods.
No.
Oh, yeah. So neither of us have read it yet.
No.
We're going to go in blind. Since the second book borrowed plot from the first book, and the third book borrowed plot from the second book, what do you think the fourth book is going to borrow from the third book?
That's a great question. There'll be a millionaire that's robbed.
Yes. I like it. Someone's going to go camping.
I think that would be a little too on the nose. I bet.
Well, thank you for walking down Fear Street with me.
Of course.
And I will catch you on the other side.
Okay. Sounds good.